Buck. A simply normal dog living in a rich household in Santa Clara, California. Judge Miller is his master and always treats him and the other dogs within the household very well. He has human-like tendencies such as intelligence, strength and dignity, which is the kind of dog people are looking for now that there has been an unexpected gold rush in Alaska. Manuel is a gardener who works for Judge Miller, who happens to be in debt, causing him to need money because of a gambling issue. He decides to capture Buck secretly, then sells him to a black market. He is put on a train heading towards the Klondike Gold Rush while being kept in a cage, getting beaten and possibly to death if he doesn't do what is needed. Once he begins behaving, he and some other dogs are sold to Perold and Francois. During this sections of the book, the character trait that stood out in Buck mostly because it is the beginning of the book. For example, his reactions to the kidnapping were also very human-like, showing confusion and being unsure, just basically trying to protect himself from the unknown. Buck has really started to become more wild since he was sold. I personally think it is because he is realizing he needs to have a few more character traits than just intelligence, strength and dignity if he wants to survive. He didn't like Spitz, the head dog of the team, and was always fighting with him. Until one day they both got very angry at each other and a fight to the death broke out. Throughout this time in my novel, I believe the reader saw Buck's main character trait as a wild beast. After Spitz is dead, another trait in Buck's personality appears, and that is leadership. Although he acts a little immature trying to get to the leading spot on the team, he continues to be difficult until Francois and Perold place him in the spot he wants to be. He shows them the best of his abilities, and both men are amazed at not only him but also his leadership skills. The team has proudly made it to town in record time, although they are all very tired. All of a sudden orders have changed in Buck and the team are sold, changing both his point of view and personality traits. Buck starts to dream about an ancient world. This is only one of many that become more vivid and persistent throughout the rest of the book. Buck shows the reader realization traits where he begins to wonder about what's out there and begins to slowly change. Now that Buck is a new master, he has to use his skills to learn the proper ways all over again. The Scottish men are found to be more strict. One day, when it is found that something is obviously wrong with one of Buck's fellow teammates, the dog is in pain and is beginning to not be able to deal with the difficult trails and job to be done. He is eliminated from the team, left alone and killed. Buck found it a good way to watch and learn from others, and he was a quick learner. The Scottish men now have to buy fresher dogs, which means Buck is sold again, this time to Hal, Charles and Mercedes. His new masters have no clue on what to do and aren't listening to anyone. Most of the people giving advice are experienced too. Buck learns to survive for himself within the team because his masters also don't treat the dogs very well. Over the course of the trip, the dogs on the team start to die, and Buck is one of few that arrives at their destination. Buck is very tired, hungry and overworked along with the other dogs. When Hal wants to leave, Buck refuses to get up. He is beaten until John Thornton steps in, cutting him off the harness, saving his life. The trio makes it on their way and perishes into the broken ice water, so now Buck is left with John. John reveals a new side of Buck because after he helps heal him with the help of his partners and fellow dogs, he is willing to do absolutely anything for him. He truly proves this with the next chapter by doing several miraculous things for John, like saving his life twice, biting a man who was hurting him, and winning a huge bet for him. By doing these things for John showed the reader all of Buck's character traits throughout the book, but mostly how is very reliable. Everyone is where they need to be, and now that the men are now mining, there is no more work for the dogs to do. Although Buck is happy where he is, he continues to see the visions and dreams and hear noises which are now becoming the call of the wild. He wanders off one day and befriends a wolf, embracing his instincts. He is beginning to become a real wild animal. This is showing how adventurous but committed he is. This pattern continues until one day Buck returns to camp, finding the Yahats killed his beloved John Thornton and friends. In fury, Buck attacks them. Now there is no more tie to humans that Buck has. He can now be a real wild animal. He joined the wolf pack but returns each year to the valley where John Thornton died, mourning the death of one of his dearest friends. One of the final traits saw in Buck was that is now committed. He loved John Thornton with all his heart, and committing to back each year showed that. Also is now committed to the Wolfpack because he has to be. He is the leader. In conclusion, I have found Buck has showed many amazing qualities throughout the novel, and I think that is now why I have enjoyed reading this book. Following along with Buck and his great personality was the best part of reading The Call of the Wild for me.